So Netflix has been going ham with the Witcher projects, first going with the main show The Witcher Season 2, which is supposed to come out sometimes at the end of this year, and also with The Witcher Blood Origins and with The Witcher Nightmare of the Wolf. So people asked me, is Netflix going too far into the Witcher franchise, and is that going to ruin them? Let's find out. So I'm going to give you my perspective from a producer side and everything we had learned in our academy, university, throughout all of the years that I've been studying film and television production. And when it comes to production in general today, it has changed immensely, because now you have corporations which generate huge amounts of money, because Netflix at first didn't start as a production company and a streaming service. They were first a streaming service only, and then later, as they got money, they were like, okay, we can now start producing our own shows. And the reason for that is that streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, Amazon, whatever, they need to, and there is this term, feed the beast, because ultimately that's it. Every single company out there that has a streaming service right now wants to produce so much content that they glue you to their platform for as long as they can, because for Netflix and everyone else, they depend on the quantity of shows. Of course, they have to depend on the quality of shows, but sometimes quantity can be more important than quality. Now, specifically for The Witcher, after the first season dropped, it achieved a huge success. In my opinion, I think Netflix The Witcher Season 1 achieved a bigger success that the executives and the showrunner were originally planning. Obviously, once you have that, once you see a lot of people putting into your platform, as an executive, as someone making decisions, you're going to say, let's branch out. We want more. People like this, people saw it, let's give people more. And this is where that quantity comes in. So, because every single season for The Witcher takes a while to be made, it's gonna take a year, even more, for us to get a new season of The Witcher. And because Netflix honestly has the money, they have locations, they have talent, they have casting directors all over the world who can pick out talent everywhere from across the globe. For them, it's easy to create more projects, because that's ultimately what they're going to do. They want you to have The Witcher content throughout the year. When the main show is filming, it's not active, they want to fill in the gaps with other things. And that's where you get Nightmare of the Wolf, which is going to follow the the Vesemir before, the things that were happening in Netflix The Witcher. And then also Blood Origin, which is going to take 1200 years or 1300 years before what was happening in the original Witcher, which is going to follow the conjunction of spheres and everything which led to the continent and the cultures and people and elves and monsters we know today. They want to cover all of that because the universe itself is rich. So why stop? There is no reason for that. Now, my only concern with this is that Netflix doesn't thin itself out too much, because I haven't seen yet, and even Netflix about this, that the first season has such a huge success and all of a sudden they are going all in. And you can see it that they will be going all in with The Witcher. And Blood Origins and the Nightmare of the Wolf are not going to be the final things. Keep in mind, Nightmare of the Wolf is just a film. It's not going to be a series which is going to span for a longer period of time. So that's going to be a one-time thing. Now, Blood Origins, we shall see how that is going to overall be produced and how long that is going to overrun, but still, that's going to be mini-series compared to the main thing. And ultimately, for Netflix, it's the main thing which is the most important. They want their main show to be as successful as it can get. So everything else, besides the main show, is going to be the supplementary content that you get while you're waiting for the show. And Netflix has to do it. Like, people have been asking, they're going too far, like we're getting too much content. They have to feed the beast. They have to include new content to their platform all the time, because they need to have everything. When you're sad, when you're happy, they need to have a show and a film for each part of the day, for each part of the year. Because ultimately, Netflix wants to keep you glued to their platform, and only their platform. They don't want you going to their competitors for this genre or that genre. So what Netflix is trying to do, of course, with an IP which is extremely popular, is branch out and give you everything. Because Nightmare of the Wolf is going to be animated, you have the main show which is not animated, which will see how Blood Origins is going to fit in all of that, but this is only the beginning. The bigger the main show is, the more spin-offs and more projects you will have for The Witcher. And I'm telling you that there is going to be a project about sorceresses and their history. I'm sure of it. I'm seeing Netflix right now considering that idea, because why not? You have a part of the audience which wants to know more about sorceresses from the Witcher world. Of course you're going to fill in that gap. You have the money, you're definitely going to earn from that, and because you have competition around, you want to capture as much as possible. And that's why this is going on. Of course, it doesn't mean that these shows are going to be bad or they're going to be this or that. No, it doesn't mean that. They have the manpower to pull off even 10 Witcher shows, different shows, if they want. They have the money for that. Of course, then the content would be oversaturated, but this is extremely smart, and you know, I don't see a problem with it, because ultimately they're not small, they can handle it. And at the same time, when you're waiting for the next season of The Witcher, having something in between to fill your Witcher needs is definitely a smart idea and a very welcome thing to do. So we'll see how that is going to look like. We'll see the reception Nightmare of the Wolf and Blood Origins are going to have, but ultimately this is extremely normal today for a company to just branch out the IP and the franchise into more shows. This is extremely normal, and you're going to see more of this in everything. You saw how it was with Star Wars. You had 6 movies and you had the animated show, and what happened after Disney bought the entire IP? You have a show here, gazillion movies here, animated here, and you're gonna be getting a show here, movies here. All from the Star Wars IP and franchise. Why? Because it makes money. Because ultimately that's what production companies, studios, and everyone want, is to make money. Now, Witcher Season 1 has its issues, but it's a really good show. We'll see how they're going to cover Season 2 and later seasons with The Witcher, and honestly I'm excited to see what they want us to see with Nightmare of the Wolf and Blood Origins, and of course expanding on a huge rich lore of The Witcher. Why not? Why not do it? You already spent money on the license and everything, so you will try to maximize the profit and maximize the amount of money you can get until you completely drain out the IP and move on to something else. This is how production works today, and this is how production is going to work in the years to come. In my opinion, it's going to increase even more. Even more. It's going to be oversaturated with content. And that's not only on Netflix, that's just how every single production is done today. So hopefully I managed to explain what I think about Blood Origins and why they're doing this. This just from my standpoint, and we'll see if it's gonna be good or bad for Netflix ultimately. I'm looking forward to this. I will be making more content on this, talking about the lore and all of the news we have from The Witcher. And yeah, stay tuned, subscribe and like the video, and tell me down below what do you think about all of this, and what are you excited about? Are you excited about Nightmare of the Wolf? Are you excited about Blood Origins? Are you excited about the Season 2 of The Witcher? And yeah, just tell me down below. And this is LKM signing out. And don't forget to also check us out on Patreon. I do have a Patreon page if you wanted to support a channel in an extra way. And also huge thanks to my current Patreon supporters. As I said, this is LKM signing out, and stay classy everyone. Bye bye.